Hi, my name is Lynslo. Thanks for stopping by the channel today. As you can see by the title, we are doing a single story family home, and that's about it. It's not linked to any type of family or any specific like career or personality types. It's really just for a family, and it has this sleek modern take with a bit of traditionalism. I add one of my favorite components of a house in this, and that is a sunken seating area. Now, I placed it in a way that is a little bit odd, but I feel like it just makes sense in my perspective. So grab everything you need. I know I just told you about an aspect of it, but we have a lot more to go, and I'm happy to share it with you. In the end, this ends up being a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, and it has an option to be like another room, not necessarily a bedroom, but we have an office, and that's actually what I put it in as. There is a backyard space that ends up having a pool and a nice lounge area. Like, I could just see how that turns out, and I would just want to lounge there all day. So we're working on the roofing right now, and I love this sleek black roof piece. I don't know if it came with a pack exactly, and I couldn't really tell because it just went by so fast, but I do have that. And then we end up going for like a cream or white wall, and I love the idea of having a garage, and I end up using some windows and then skipping a line, and then I end up changing what that garage siding looks like. And I really want there to be actual garages in The Sims 4, not necessarily for like any functionality or anything, but just so that it looks like a typical house. It's very hard for me to build houses sometimes in The Sims because they all have like different garage types. And if you don't know, I do take a lot of inspiration from houses that I see online. Sometimes, not all the time, but I do take some inspiration from those, and then I go ahead and like tailor it to The Sims because, you know, isn't always right. And then also some of the architecture designs that you can make in real life, you can't really do that in The Sims due to like block restrictions and tile restrictions, and you can't put two housing structures together that are on different foundations. So that kind of hinders a lot of the things that I can do. But I do end up enjoying the way that this looks. As you can see, I just mapped everything out with like putting a bed, a desk, and, you know, just how the entire thing starts to look. And again, I love it. I do go with a brown for the kitchen, and I was thinking about adding like a bunch of different colors in this, but just by how the outside of it looks, I figured that I shouldn't put a lot of color in the kitchen, like built-in color. So we get a lot of the color that you see in this by a bunch of the decorations that I end up using, like the table and the living room. I know you got a glimpse of that entire thing in the beginning video, but it was going by pretty fast, and that was intentional. I wanted you to be able to kind of get a glimpse of what you're going to see, but really you'll see the details of me creating it and then the ending result in this video, but also in the screenshots. And so if you do want to play in this, I have play tested a bit, so you're able to walk through everything and do everything that is on the gallery. I do end up going back through towards the end of the video and adding some more decorations in some places that I feel like needed them. You won't necessarily see all the changes in the video, but just as I was uploading and playtesting, I noticed that I could add a little bit more dimension, and I didn't want to flake out on that for you guys. And please don't come for me. I know I use that rug all the time, but I just love it. Like, look at the dimensions on it, and I have this thing for like old school or vintage items, and that just screams that to me, and I just can't help but go for it. So I do. There's something about a rug that matches like the actual couches that makes so much sense to me, and I had to do that for this. So you can see I used those couches that we got from the Get Famous expansion pack, but I did want some kind of texture to be added, and I tried to do this L shape, but I then realized like the L shape plus an added, you know, layered rug, and then it just being in the space that it wasn't really working. And that's when I decided to sink the living room space and add another couch. So technically there is about 9 areas of seating just in the living room by itself. I really do love the open floor plan here, so I wanted to make it so that you can see everything in every point in the home, and you really can. There is just that small walkway area just getting into the owner suite. And then I wanted to have this beautiful accent wall, and so you see the stones at the bottom, and then it's like just cement at the top. And I feel like it was a really cool contrast to what you see on the outside, which is not very textured, but we have that cream white feel. And then you come right in, and then to your right, you see this rock wall. And it just makes sense to me. Well, to me as a statement choice, not so much for a particular family. Looking from the outside, I don't necessarily think that I would see that as I'm walking in. I don't think I would see the wall, let alone the sunken living room area. So I wanted to make it seem a little bit more lively, and that was one way that I was able to bring it out, as well as adding like a small little office and then separated spaces between the family members. We have one side for the owner suite and then one side for children or additional spaces that your Sims would want to go in. I do go back and add a little bit more decoration for the living room area, but now we're into the dining room, and you can see I brought the red from the living room into this dining room. I love the idea of having a chandelier. Now, does it make sense in this modern-ish home? Probably not, but I needed something to break up the space and really signify that we're in a different area of the house, and that was one way for me to do it. I added some pattern with that green table, and then I do go back and try to see if I could add like a different flooring in that sunken living room space. I do go back and add a simple rug under the dining room, and then I move right to the entryway. I absolutely love this mirror. I use it so much. I don't know why, but it just speaks to me, and I have to listen. And then we have a big plant, a lamp, and a small end table. So now we're moved into the office, and for this one I do go for a more traditional decoration style, and I know that I could have gone a little bit more modern and that would have saved some space, but I did want it to be like, at least it's an office. This is something that makes sense. We have carpet in there. Why? I don't know. But it is a very confined space, so I just needed to add a few things in there that would actually make the space useful. And then I come back out and then I add this small bookshelf. I did want to add a divider there, but I realized that it would have taken up too much space, and I did want your Sims to be able to go through it. Like I said earlier, I did play test it, so you are able to go through every section of this house. Now, some of the decorations, you may need to take some of those off, but you do have some space to where you can cook on the counters. And then I came outside and worked on this pool area. You do have multiple areas of seating, like there's the lounge chairs, there's this picnic table, and then we have some chairs around the fireplace. Like, it's a whole vibe, and I actually love it. And then I came right back inside, added some decorations up on the countertops, like I just mentioned. I love that I'm able to add like a bit of realism into every one of these builds, and the main one is adding a microwave to every family home. I feel like that just makes sense, especially for small children who just love to eat all the time. Their go-to is typically like microwave dinners or like ramen, something very easy and quick to make. Off the garage, you're able to walk into the house through a small mudroom area, but I didn't want it to be just a traditional mudroom. It's more of a laundry room, and so you're able to do your laundry, set your shoes down, and then walk into your beautiful home. So I do actually think this is for a family of at least 4. You could add some more, like I said, but I definitely think it's for a family of 4. One I thought is like a little girl or a girl that has just entered like preteen ages, and so that's why we still have a few things here that kind of signal like being a child. I end up adding an activity table or a drawing table there, and there are some clothes up there that are kind of small and colorful, and so I just think that kind of alludes to it. I love this chair. I think that's one that we got from high school years, and don't get me wrong, I don't play a lot with the high school pack that much, but the items in that pack are amazing. So if you haven't already, I would definitely recommend it just for the packs. Now, for the gameplay, I don't know. If that's something that you want to see me play with on The Sims and give my opinion about, definitely do that in the comments. I am always trying to reply. I'm always trying to interact with you all, and I love being able to, get some feedback, nice feedback, but feedback nonetheless. So in the end, it ends up being like a very pink bedroom, and I kind of like it. I think it just works for the kind of Sim that I was thinking about. But also, if you're playing with a family and you're like, pink is not really her color, I'm almost certain that you can go through and just change some of the swatches, and it can be perfect for any kind of child, regardless if that's their color preference, because I know it's not for everyone. But now we're moving into this room, and I thought this was for like a teen boy or something similar to that. I do end up going for a darker color scheme in here, so we see a lot of black, gold, blue, a bunch of blue actually, and I think they have a bunch of school pride, so that's why they have those as the sheets. I end up adding a TV in here, and I end up adding one of the gaming systems, so you have a chair, which is also, I think, blue. I think it's actually not one from the high school, but one from like one of the colleges or universities. So I definitely think this sim is probably going to go to college, but again, I'm just making things that would probably like look really cool in this house, but also be on brands because these are for children. Like I said, this is like at least a 4-person house, 2 of them being adults. So I do add a bunch of things in here that I think would be like very teenage appropriate, or at least like going into early adulthood. And so they are in love with their high school, but they're going into adulthood soon. So maybe they start DJing. They're in love with music. They're in love with just having a space of their own. So they add a bunch of things that they want in that one. Now, unfortunately, they do share a bathroom. So one side for the teen and then the other side for the child. And then you can kind of see the distinctions between those. But I think it's really cool to at least have them share because this is not a very large house. It may look like it from the outside, but as soon as you walk in, you can kind of see they divvied up a space that is probably unconventional, and by they I mean me. So I do a little bit of work in the bathroom, and then I go outside to the like common areas of the house. First I stop into this little office, and when I say it's the smallest office, it really is. And then I add this vintage stereo on the outside near the living room. This is like right before you go out to the patio, and I just add some things before I go into this bedroom. Now this is the owner's suite, so there is a beautiful bedroom. Now it's pretty large considering I do add a lot in here. You may not see it in video, but I love adding a small seating area. I love having a double-sized bed where I can, and since money was not an object in this, I had to splurge a lot. I end up getting a rug, a little end table, 2 small end tables. I end up adding another end table over by the double doors, and then I have like some beautiful paintings that I got off the gallery. Don't get me wrong, I love a traditional house where everyone kind of uses the same bathroom, but I feel like a family that lives here and has this type of house needs their own set of privacy. So this has a bathroom attached, but in order for you to get to the bathroom, you do have to walk through their small closet area. And this is pretty cool because they each have their own side. And in terms of like house structure and everything, I think it's a his, hers. And then we have this beautiful walk-in bathroom, and I end up having a vanity, and I keep moving things around because I wanted to add that vanity so bad. So we have a vanity, a sink, a toilet, and then you have to step into the shower. Now this doesn't have a bathtub, but I think they're okay with it because it is a double head shower. So there is a shower on one side and there's a shower on the other side, and you do have to step in. I think this is actually really cool aspect to this, and I also think it just kind of works because we have that separate dressing room area, and then having a double head shower. Like all of this just makes sense in my eyes. If there's going to be a walk-in closet aspect where there's one side for one person and one side for the other, they definitely need their own shower heads, and so that is my idea for that. And I also added that vanity because I feel like it just kind of makes sense. Now, if you want to download this, it's already up on the gallery. My name is LynzloByChoice there, as well as on all of my other socials. Before I get off, I just want to say thank you for watching, and also thank you if you've subscribed. If you haven't, what are you doing? Go ahead and do that. If you care to watch some more things about The Sims 4, because that is what these videos are about on this channel, and I would definitely appreciate it. I hope you enjoy these screenshots. Thank you for just hanging out with me for just a second, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye.